evening and welcome to the Evening News' Weekend Review for the week ending Saturday, February 23, 2019. I'm Davina Ramdas. Thanks for joining us. For the next 30 minutes, we will recap some of the top stories that were featured during the past week. We begin by telling you that former Attorney General Anil Nandlall on Monday accused the David Granger-led administration of practicing constitutional heresy by still carrying out cabinet meetings, but under a different name while ignoring the court's ruling. Samuel Suknandan filed that report.
Nandlall is again accusing the government of making a mockery of both the Chief Justice's ruling and the provisions of the Constitution of Guyana. Referring to the recent discovery that members of the cabinet are now meeting as a ministerial plenary, the former Attorney General says this move is ludicrous.
You simply can't concoct another agency, calling it a name and imbuing it with the power to perform the functions that cabinet used to be performing. I mean, I have never heard of anything like this. Nowhere in the Caribbean or the Commonwealth one would find a parallel to this constitutional travesty.
The opposition parliamentarian rejected claims being made by Minister of State Joseph Harmon that this plenary has the same power as the cabinet did.
Where did they get that from? Where did the plenary of ministers, whatever that amorphous organization is that provided for anywhere in the laws? The Constitution creates a cabinet, and the Constitution ascribes to cabinet the functional responsibilities that cabinet is to perform.
He said it constitutes arrogance and disrespect of the Chief Justice's ruling and a brazen subversion of the language and spirit of the Constitution.
It's absolute heresy. It's constitutional heresy at its worst. And that's what is going on here in Guyana. I mean, there is no parallel to this, as I've indicated. So all the decisions which are now being made by this ministerial plenary, in my view, are all unconstitutional, are all illegal. And they at some point in time, they will have to be set aside as illegal and as unlawful.
According to him, all of the democratic gains made since 1992 as a nation are being reversed rapidly and is leading to a political dictatorship. Government fell to a no-confidence vote brought against it on December 21, 2018. Government took the matter to the High Court, but it was defeated. It is now with the Appeal Court. President David Granger and his government have said they are waiting on the pending legal cases before they call a date for elections. Opposition leader Bar Jagdeo has already warned that transactions approved by an illegal cabinet run the risk of not being recognized. Davina Samaru reporting for the Evening News.
On Tuesday, we told you that a constitutional crisis is on the brink after the Guyana Elections Commission GECOM voted that new elections cannot be held in 90 days as constitutionally mandated. More in this report.
When commissioners of the Guyana Elections Commission met today, they put 3 issues in relation to elections preparation to a vote. The first was elections cannot be held in 90 days, the second had to do with funding for elections, and third was for GECOM to return to normalcy. Commissioner Robeson Ben, who represents the opposition, said while the votes from 3 commissioners from both sides were met by a deadlock, the chairman had the deciding vote.
I said all the votes were carried, all the motions were carried, but that on our side we voted against them. The motions were carried basically on the vote of the chairman.
Ben said that he and the 2 other opposition-nominated commissioners voted against the call for funding for the elections, explaining that monies could be wired or transferred from within GECOM.
Our position on that is that it's an abandonment of the constitutional mandate and its duties and responsibilities. The thing is that when they say it's normal activity, it brings in a suggestion of house-to-house registration.
Meanwhile, the People's Progressive Party has said in a statement that they are of the view that the situation at GECOM will certainly guarantee Guyana is pushed towards a constitutional crisis. The Constitution makes it clear that an extension of the deadline for which general and regional elections are constitutionally due belongs within the purview of the legislature. The coalition party has been behind calls for house-to-house registration, which could take months and thus delay the holding of elections. The current electoral list expires on April the 30th. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Given the national importance of the challenges to the no-confidence case, stakeholders have been calling on the judiciary to ensure the matter is fast-tracked. However, owing to the Attorney General's omission of 2 interested parties from the motion, the matter was delayed. Shemuel Fanfare filed his report on Wednesday.
Clerical errors in the stay order filed in the appeal court by government to stay last month's High Court rulings on the no-confidence resolution against its administration means that Attorney General Bassel Williams will have to refile one of the summons in the matter. This was the order handed down by Justice Rishi Prasad in preliminary proceedings today ahead of the overall case. The AG is expected to refile the summons at the latest tomorrow, as he holds out that the stay and conservatory orders are necessary to preserve government's continuance in office for the foreseeable future.
We believe that the court should grant a stay, preserve the status quo ante, so there's no question of 3 months running.
Justice Prasad said moments prior that the summons must be filed without defect and be corrected. The AG was seeking to amend the appeal to include the names of the opposition leader and the Minister of State that were not included in his legal documents. Williams was arguing that it could still be included, but Justice Prasad reminded that only the full bench of judges could make such amendments. Today's proceedings had the opposition leader's attorney venting over the delay.
Unfortunately, the Attorney General's appeal was riddled with mistakes, and we spent the entire hearing trying to defend the indefensible. At the end of the day, he had to take an adjournment to correct all the errors.
Nandla claims he will be brief with his input in this case, as he does not intend to file affidavits in the appeals.
I didn't file any in the High Court. I don't intend to file any here. I believe that the matters raise pure issues of law which can be addressed quickly, quicker than we have done in the Court of Appeal, because the issue here is quicker than we have done in the High Court, because the issue here is even narrower.
Last month, Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George refused the AG's request for a stay and conservatory order prior to her rulings, but government is moving ahead with asking the appeal court to stay those rulings while it considers setting aside the judgments made by Justice George. It all stemmed with the December 21, 2018 vote from a former government member who voted with the opposition to effectively unseat the current administration. Shemuel Fanfare, The Evening News.
Let's take a quick break and we will be right back.